And we're live on Jesus Freak and the Jew.
Yo. Today's going to be a bloodbath.
Build the wall!
Straight
Build the wall!
bloodbath today, man.
Build the wall! Build the wall. Wait, we can talk about merch for a second. Look, I got our shirt on, Jesus Freak and the Jew.
Ooh, that's
I got it in like 3 colors. And I also got the one that says pray, slay, repeat. And all my girls are like, oh my God, I got to get that.
Right, you can buy one and get one free as long as you pay for the second one. So
wow, that's a really good marketing.
Good deal, huh?
Copy. That's really good.
Okay, so don't try and distract me. All right, we're getting into it. So we're talking about Martha's Vineyard today, and it is going to be a bloodbath because this is the single most disgusting thing that's ever happened in the history of our country.
Well, or is it the strongest power play ever by the greatest governor in the history of governors?
He is such a monster.
I love him.
And the fact that you guys, you Christians are the compassionate, Jesus-loving people that you are just dehumanizing these poor immigrants. It's just unbelievable what you guys do.
Really?
And what you'll stoop to. Unbelievable.
Really? Who brought them here?
They are applying for asylum, which are legally entitled to do, and you guys treat them like chattel. Basically, for you guys, they're suitcases. They're political pawns that
your president and savior has no border control, and they're coming over in millions and millions and millions, and
right, and there's
humans and drugs and all the things. And there's my governor says, you know what? We're not an asylum state. Go where other states.
He took them out of Texas. He took him out of San Antonio. This was a complete political theater.
You know
Nothing but political theater, and he did it with human beings.
Good. Because Biden has been playing with us and toying with us and messing with the state of Florida and Governor DeSantis since all this shit started because he doesn't like DeSantis because DeSantis doesn't fall in line with his regime.
Had nothing to do with Florida.
Absolutely.
Texas
100%.
and Santa Barbara.
They have been gunning for my governor since COVID because we didn't comply with all the other crap like everybody else, and we've been just fine.
Well, no, but you guys look. Okay, so let's start from the beginning because we could just yell at each other.
Because we're gonna yell. We're gonna beat you up. I'm gonna fly to California. I'm gonna whoop you.
Well, I live in Nevada, so it's gonna be. You have fun in California. I'll call you.
Oh, I thought you were there right now. Okay, you're going back. Well, I'm gonna be in Vegas. I'm going to Vegas.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's start in a semi-formal and structured manner. We'll try and get through this respectfully, and within 30 seconds, I'm just gonna start slapping you in the face because you're disgusting. Okay, so there's a whole boatload of immigrants seeking asylum in Texas. And these particular immigrants, there was about 50 of them, 48 to be precise, in San Antonio, most of them from Venezuela. And there was a woman who we've now discovered, her name is Perla Huerta, a former combat medic, who walked around to them and said, we're going to give you jobs, we're going to give you 8 months of cash assistance, we're going to give you housing, we're going to fly you to Massachusetts. She gave them flyers, which, by the way, had the incorrect flag of Massachusetts on them and had a bunch of lies on it, and convinced them to get on a plane, which they didn't know where it was going, and it ended up in Martha's Vineyard. Do you agree with all of that? You don't agree with that? Which part is incorrect? Which part is wrong?
Just keep going.
So it turns out later, so these migrants found out on the flight over, they were going to Martha's Vineyard, which is an island, has about 20,000 year-round residents, no services for homeless people, essentially. And it turns
all
out
the wealthy, rich people live there, and they don't want immigrants there. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's true. And it turns out that DeSantis, your governor of Florida, the Florida legislature granted him $12 million to move people out of the state, move illegal immigrants out of the state. He took 1.6 million of that, a lot of which was paid to his political cronies and friends, to go and take these people in San Antonio and fly them to Massachusetts without them knowing where they were going or what they're doing. And they're basically lied to in order to get them on the plane. That's basically what happened. Right. Now you go and tell me before we get into whether it's right or wrong, let's get into the facts. You tell me what's right or wrong about my little story.
Where are you getting your story from? What are your sources?
Washington Post, New York Times, Washington Examiner, Boston Globe.
Really?
CNN.
Dem. Keep going.
Okay, so tell me what the correct facts are. If my facts are wrong, tell me what the correct facts are. By the way, you got blurry all of a sudden. How'd you get blurry?
I'm like the Flash.
Yeah. No, God is making you
Not
disappear
with
because
my
he's such a
pimp-
monster.
Not with my pimp get pimp, though. I'm definitely not the Flash, but in my mind, I am. Am I still
Okay.
blurry?
You're still blurry. I don't know why.
It's you, because I feel like I'm clear.
No, I'm fine. Okay, anyway, whatever. Keep going. It's fine. You might be blurry on our podcast. Okay.
No, that would suck.
Anyway, let's just keep going.
Okay. Listen, again, I'm gonna go like this. I don't listen to all mainstream media, so I don't know.
No, forget. Let's get to the facts first. Tell me the facts.
Perla, in quotes, everywhere that I've read and is in quotes. So to me, Perla is like, is that even a real person? Who was she hired by? Like, how do I know she wasn't hired by the Democrats to pose as this infiltrator?
It's always a false flag operation. Everything is a false flag operation when it goes against the Republican orthodoxy.
I don't believe in anything until I actually see it for my own two eyes.
Okay, so what do you believe?
No matter what channel it's coming from.
All I ever hear is what you don't believe. What do you believe? Tell me what you believe about this incident.
You know what I believe? I believe that my governor has done nothing but protect the citizens of Florida.
Okay,
no,
this is what you guys.
No, you're asking me what I believe.
I'm asking about the facts of this event. I'm not asking you for your opinions on your governor.
So what he does to
about
protect
this particular Martha's Vineyard
I do not want all this influx of illegal aliens coming into my state who are trafficking fentanyl. They're human trafficking, sex trafficking. No, I don't want it because that's what's happening.
So this is what you guys do. You make up. You have
coming into our state. No,
you have these platitudes.
You have
your talking points. I'm asking for the facts of Martha's Vineyard. You can tell me all of that in the last 25 minutes.
That's why he did it. Because they were on their way to come here.
I'm asking what happened. What happened first? I know it's hard for you guys to deal with reality because
what happened first? Okay, ready? This is what happened first. Ready?
Before we get into fantasy land, let's get into facts.
You're not letting me talk.
Because you're just making shit up. Oh, my governor, blah, blah, fentanyl. Fuck all that. Tell me about Martha's Vineyard. That's what I want to hear about. What happened with Martha's Vineyard first? Then you can tell me about the fentanyl.
You know what happened first?
Yes.
The border's wide open.
Okay, fine. So the border's wide open.
And listen, I have friends that work at Border Patrol. Okay.
I know. I'll tell you what, the amount of friends you have in Tampa is pretty shocking because you basically practically run the entire country with your friends. But okay, go ahead. Let's hear about all your friends in Tampa who know about the southwestern border.
So what you don't know is I'm very politically embedded here, and I also have a lot a friends in the military.
I know all about
that. And I call them on the phone, and I say, "Hey, I'm doing this podcast. I need some recon." One of them works at Border Patrol.
I mean, this is all irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant. It has everything to do with how they got here, got to Texas, got to Martha's Vineyard.
We're going to get to that in a second. I just want to you told me that everybody's lying to me about what actually happened. Why don't you tell me what happened so at least we have a structure?
My governor put people in Martha's Vineyard. I don't want them here.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So the facts as I related them in terms of how it happened, what was said to them, what they received, when they found out about it, what they were told, are those
I don't know that those are facts, so I'm not going to validate
So what facts do you know then?
The facts do you know? They went from there to there, not here. That's a fact.
Okay,
That's what
so
I
let
know
me ask you this.
fact.
If you found out that they were lied to and they were deceived into getting on that plane, would that bother you at all? Or that's okay in your Christian world of compassion?
Not at all.
You don't care?
No.
Okay. What? You don't care that people are lied to? It's okay to lie to people and just...
I mean, the government lies to us every day and we're the American people.
Well, you're saying, okay, so that's apparently a bad thing. So if you're saying it's a bad thing, then why are you condoning doing it more to these immigrants?
Because they're not citizens. They don't pay taxes. I do.
Are they people? Are they human beings? Do we don't care about human beings anymore?
Illegally.
How do you know that? What if they're here legally according to the asylum rules? The asylum says it's okay.
And they don't have
and they applied for asylum. They applied for asylum. Do you even know what happens with immigration? Do you understand asylum?
I'm done with immigration into the United States.
Because you don't
close it down.
Because clearly you don't understand it.
Let's stop adding more people and more crap and more shit to our house. And why don't we clean it up a little bit?
Yeah.
And let other countries
why don't you start with your own people?
Crap.
Because here's the crazy part about it. Like now we're just kind of screaming random shit. But I can tell you this. If you look at the actual data, which you don't believe, because if it doesn't comply with what you think, it doesn't exist.
I read data all day, and I know that computers can manipulate anything, and so can people. But go ahead.
Okay, great. Immigrants actually commit less crime per capita than native-born Americans do. Immigrants work harder. Immigrants take jobs that Americans don't want. Immigrants are spectacular for our economy, and they basically built our country. Without them, we'd be dead. But you scream fentanyl and trafficking and whatever, murders, rapists, which is what your orange God said, and like you never.
So
deal
it's
with
what
reality.
I know to be true. I live
but
in
you know that, but you don't know anything else.
Listen to
None
me.
of the fact. Okay, go ahead.
I live in the states and cities rated in the United States, one of the top rated sex trafficking cities in the world. I have 4 children. I'm very aware of sex trafficking. My former business partner started a foundation to help fight it. I know a lot about it, and I know that a lot of this comes. I know that a lot of it starts in Mexico and it crosses over our border.
What about the part?
Damn it! I will close that border to protect my children.
Okay,
Absolutely.
what about the white nationalists, right? That do the same thing. What about the sex trafficking that happens from people who are born in
all
Florida?
cultures
What do
are
you do
doing
then?
it. People all over are doing it.
Well, if you found out that fewer proportion of immigrants do it than actual white American citizens, what would you do then? Would you kick all the American citizens
I'd like
out?
to know the percentage of immigrants that are actually coming over here and doing good with their life, and the other part that are part of the drug cartel, the sex trafficking cartel, and the fentanyl cartel.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know, because I'm pretty sure it's probably 85% bad and 15% good. But how do you vet that? How do you vet that?
The reality is there actually is data about that. There's tons of data about that. And
Really?
what the data shows is, yeah, there is, but you don't believe it. So, I mean, this is a standard Republican, statement. Is I just don't believe facts that don't support my argument. The reality is, it's not 85%. It's like 2%. It's like a tiny little percent. Yeah, really. Yeah, really. And by the way, let's talk about something else.
We just seized 1,200 pounds of fentanyl at the border. Do you know that 2 milligrams could kill one person? 90% of the United States could be killed by 1,200 pounds of fentanyl.
Are you talking about drug trafficking? Are you talking about drug trafficking? Or are you talking about immigrants?
I'm talking about drug trafficking that's coming through via immigrants.
Right.
It's coming through via the immigrants.
How many? There's millions of immigrants coming over the border.
How many? And they shouldn't be. We should have tighter security in our borders and vetting people that are coming into this country.
If your number was right, which is a fucking disgusting number, 1 million. There's been a million plus arrests this year. 850,000 people would be carrying drugs of fentanyl if your 85% ridiculous argument was true. But it's not, because you guys make shit up.
So I have a question. In any other place in the world, you're in Europe and you want to go from country to country. How strict is it to go from country to country? Like, how difficult is it? You go through customs. How many times we were in Europe? How many times did our passports get checked going from one side of the airport to the other side of the airport to the plane? So you're telling me in other places that are very safe about who they let in and out of their country, and they know when you're leaving and when you're going, and they track that, right? But we should just open it up and it's fair game. But everybody else does it. But I'm a bad guy because I want to operate under that same principle to protect my border and my country.
That's exactly what we do.
We don't. Anyone and everyone is coming into this country.
I mean, this is your narrative.
3 million
this is your narrative.
3 million Mexicans have come through since January 20th of 2021.
You believe that? Why do you believe that number? Why don't you
believe?
What? Based on who? Based on who? Washington Examiner, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times. Who said? Why do you believe that? Why do you believe everything that supports your argument and nothing that detracts from it? Why?
It was on a fucking press conference, dude.
Oh, so you believe the government now? Because every time we talk, I don't believe a word Biden says. I don't believe a word. He's not a word that comes up. But that press conference, which has data that you like,
and then other Republicans are saying it too. That
is a fact
I checked
on Republicans saying it's true.
12 separate sources. I checked that. 12 separate sources.
Okay, name them for me. Give me the first. You have 12.
It's a dick.com.
Okay, that's my favorite site. Okay, now what's number 2? All right, let's
I read them on all your stupid crap that I hate.
Let's rate it back.
New York Post, the Washington, whatever I don't know.
But you believe them when they give you facts that support.
I don't necessarily believe them. I'm just giving you numbers. You want data? That's the data I found.
No, but you're like, when I give you data, you go, I just don't believe it because it doesn't support your argument. But when you get data that does, then you believe it. I mean, that's what.
Why would I agree with you? That debunks the whole principle of the show.
No, it doesn't. I mean, last time when we did student loans, we agreed on a lot of stuff. See, this is what you guys do, because really what it is, what the Republican Party's become, is just bloodthirsty for power. You don't care about facts or reality or human beings. You just care about power. So you can impose your will on this country. That's what you care about.
I am sick and tired of us just laying down and taking it and we have literally
We
are
don't.
changing the way that this country was founded. And
No, we're not.
there's no rule. Yes, it is. The current
Country's
government
founded on immigration.
has committed treason 1,000 times. They don't follow their own rules. Rules don't apply to them, and they're penalizing innocent people all the time.
Unlike Trump and the Republicans.
Like, he's not even in office. You guys keep blaming him for shit. He's not even in office anymore. So why don't
only thing I blame him for is
Elsa, let it go. The only person to blame for anything that's happening in this country right now that's a shit show is the current regime. Not Trump. He's not in office. Stop blaming him. He's not even in power anymore, dude.
I just blame him for the documents that he stole that he refuses to give back. And I blame him for what he does to people like you.
Okay? He's done nothing to me. This is me.
You sit there and listen to him like he's...
I don't listen to him. I am a smart, intelligent human being who does her own research and sees the patterns of what's happening and how this country has changed so much in the last 12 years and not for the good. It doesn't align with who I am as a human being. It doesn't align with who I am as a mother. It doesn't align with who I am as a taxpayer. Let's go back nothing to do with Trump. I just thought that he has the voice to stand up and push back against it. And that's why I love DeSantis, because I'm in alignment with those core values.
Let's go back a couple podcasts ago when you said you believe Trump and you don't believe anybody else. You don't believe anybody in his government. You don't believe any of the staff. You don't believe anybody. You don't believe anybody currently in the government. The only person you said in the world you believe is Trump. So what we have is, I used to say we were tiptoeing to the Handmaid's Tale. What we're tiptoeing to is into pure fascism. And what fascism, the step one of fascism, is to create an enemy. And that's what you guys have done, which is immigrants. Step two is to dehumanize them, which is what DeSantis did.
They're not our enemy.
They're fentanyl, 85% of drug traffickers, sexual trafficking. What?
The current regime is my enemy. The current...
So you want to overthrow the government like all the other people on January 6th?
100%.
Okay, so when it's democratically elected, but you don't like them, you can overthrow them.
That's wrong. That's wrong. There have been democratic leaders that I actually liked. I do not like the current situation because of the stuff that they're allowing. They're not protecting the American people. That's my problem. They're not protecting us as a country. They're operating under their own agenda, and it's derailing this country and what it was founded on.
So what we're doing...
That's my issue.
So what we're doing is...
That could be a Republican in office. And I would hate what they're doing if they were not in alignment with my core values of what I think is right.
So what we're doing now is what you always do, is like glittering generalizations. You just make these general statements that have no basis whatsoever. They have no basis whatsoever because you don't have any facts. And if facts show up that to me in the argument, then
there's like 80 million people that believe what I believe, by the way.
Exactly. And there's 360 million people in the country, and 290 million of them are disgusted with you people. Absolutely disgusted about how fucking ridiculous you are.
No, they're not.
You know, and it's sad that you guys are in a cult, and it's sad that you want to overthrow the government.
But
and
your side wants to your side's over here like approving gender transformation and sex education to fucking kindergartners. Like, dude, are you serious right now? That's what's going on. That's what's going on in Tampa because our mayor is like a proponent of that. That's okay though. You guys love your like little talking points, which are completely ridiculous and absurd. You're right.
But you just say, if you say them over and over and over again. All right, let's get back to Martha's Vineyard. We're way off the topic.
I'm glad that he made a power move to set a point, because in DC a while back when all this border stuff was happening and Trump wanted to build a wall and everyone was pushing back and, oh, you're a terrible person. And then now the border's open and there's all this influx, right? There's zero control over what's going on. But it's okay because there are states, and people in DC said, we're a sanctuary state. Bring us all of your tired, you're hungry, you're poor, you're immigrants, right? Let's go.
America. They're Americans. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Americans. No. Yes.
But it's interesting enough because one of those sanctuary states is Boston, and Martha's Vineyard has said it in the past.
By the way, Boston is the state. Boston is the state, but you know.
I understand. I said Boston and then Martha's Vineyard because that's where they landed. I'm not a dumbass. Boston,
you said it's a state, and then you said the state is Boston. So maybe you are a dumbass because the state is Massachusetts.
I'm sorry. I meant fucking Massachusetts.
Is that a fact too, that Boston is a state that you got from Fox News? Tucker Carlson?
No, I don't watch Fox News.
Okay, so let's get back to the topic. We've been screaming for 19 minutes and 29 seconds.
Listen, I think what he did was awesome. I fully support it. 100%.
So let me ask you this. Okay, that's fine. So let's ask some questions. Okay, generally speaking, when in a fascist state, they try and dehumanize the enemy. So in this situation, you took 48 human beings and you lied to them and put them on a plane and put them in a place where they didn't belong. They shouldn't have been. Nobody knew they were coming. Don't you feel that you're treating them like less than human? Don't you think as human beings, they have certain rights just as human beings?
How'd they get to Texas?
They crossed the border and they asked for asylum, which is part of our law of this country. This country allows people to ask for asylum.
They're standing at the border and they're standing on ground in Texas. They're just standing in the middle of like a field. How'd they get to where they were?
They walked there, most of them from Venezuela. And then they applied for asylum. Do you know what asylum is? Do you understand the concept of asylum?
Who picked them up? Like, who picked them up and took them to the place that they were then taken to Martha's Vineyard? Like, how did that transfer happen? Who was in charge of that transaction? Because they're standing in the middle. They're standing there like, okay, we're here. So who drove them? Who transported them? They crossed over.
Who cares? Who cares?
I care.
Okay, what's the answer you're looking for? Because they crossed the border and they asked for asylum, which is part of.
And then what happened? What's the process from there? What happens from there?
You apply for asylum, right, with the government, and then the government basically has a process where they have hearings, and most people who apply for asylum get denied. And so there's currently 750,000 people requesting asylum in this country, approximately. And so they get a notice to appear. If they appear, they present their case, and they either win or they lose. And if they lose, they're sent back to their country. That's what asylum is. They're here legally until the government says that they have to leave. That's the way the law works.
I'm fully aware of that process. I'm asking a question.
What are you asking me?
How did they get from the border, Mexico, Texas? From that line they crossed over, and I'm sure there's probably like a booth, like the border patrols there, like when you go into other places. They're standing in the middle of nowhere.
You're obviously looking for a piece of information to support the point. I don't know the answer.
Okay, but I'm getting to a point here. They pick them up and they take them to God knows where. And these people they get on a bus, they get in a car, whatever, and they're transported to, they don't know where the hell they're going to, but they trust that they're going to land somewhere safe. So you're saying to me like, okay, it's the same situation. They put them on a plane and they drop them off somewhere safe. Do you not understand? Like, it's the same thing. They went from point A to point B and point B to point C.
They lied to them for political theater. And there's no reason for DeSantis to do it. They're not in Florida. They're not pieces of fucking furniture. They're human beings.
But what if they were on their way to Florida and he said, no, we will not receive them?
That's great. Then Florida as a state has the right to move them out. But they get to be treated like human beings, don't they?
But he didn't want them here to begin with, so he just rerouted them. Instead of bringing them here,
but they weren't in Florida. Because you know why? Because Florida has very few immigrants. And the immigrants you do have are Cubans. And Cubans are a big voting bloc. So if DeSantis actually were to remove immigrants from Florida, he would fucking lose the election.
That's why he didn't do it. That I owned a business, a construction company once.
I'm sure a lot of your friends
all of my employees were from South America. Venezuelan, Guatemalan. Yes.
Right.
I employed them. Help them get green cards.
How long ago was that?
They still
so is that legal? So it's legal to do that? It's legal to try and get a green card as an immigrant? But these 48 people don't deserve that same chance that you gave your employees. Is that what you're saying? It was okay for you to do it for your employees.
They were already here.
So I guess what? So what? So the 48 people were already here too. They were here on Thursday. Right? And so on Friday, DeSantis picked them up or whatever day it was.
My governor made an executive decision and I support his decision. If that's what he thinks is right and that's what
So treating people like
maybe he had intel that I don't have. Maybe he knows knowledge that I don't know.
He did.
But you don't know that. You're not him.
He did. He
had
nothing. Why wouldn't he say it? Why wouldn't he say it? Why wouldn't he tell the world why he did? He didn't do it. He said they think they're going to Florida. And if they think they're going to Florida, I had a right to go and take them out of Texas. Why don't you admit that it was political theater? Why don't you admit that he did this to score points with people like you? That's the only reason. It wasn't about immigration. It wasn't about safety. It wasn't about security. It wasn't about immigration. It was about nothing but him. It was nothing but him getting votes from you whack jobs, from you cultists. Because he knows that you cultists listen to Trump.
He already has my vote. He had my vote a long time ago.
Look, he's in a neck and neck battle with Chris. He's in a neck and neck battle with Chris.
That man is never going to. That dude is a shady SOB, and no one in the state of Florida is going to vote for him.
Okay, well, if you look at the polls, they're neck and neck. They're neck and neck right now.
No, they're not.
And Chris was the governor previously. So
he was a piece of crap. He is a piece of crap of a human being.
Well, this is what Republicans say. Like, if you're going to lose on a point of logic, just say he's a piece of shit, or he does fentanyl, or he's a sex trafficker, or he's a monster. Like, this is what you guys do. Like, and by the way, we're 25 minutes into this. We've talked about 2 minutes on Martha's Vineyard because you know you'll lose on every single point in Martha's Vineyard. So what you do is like you spew some other bullshit. The reality is he treated these people like chattel. He dehumanized them, which, by the way, is the first step in like ethnic cleansing. This is what they did with the Jews in World War II. This is what they did with the Serbs, the Croats. This is what they did with the Hutus, the Tutsis. Let's make them subhuman. Let's make them subhuman so we have an enemy, so we get people to vote for us. That's what it is. That's what you guys are doing. It's disgusting.
Go right ahead. Keep going. Finish your story.
Alex, I'm done. I finished. Now you can go.
No, you're just on a roll. Go ahead.
Well, no, tell me how I'm wrong. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. Tell me I'm wrong. Or just scream fentanyl. Fentanyl, sex trafficking. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's like Charlie Crist is a fucking loser. Biden's committing treason every day. I mean, it's like, that's what you do.
I mean, the people on my side of the island know those to be facts. So your side doesn't. So I'm screaming facts, but to me, they're not facts.
That's an opinion, and it's a talking point that you guys use to justify things that you know you can't justify logically and rationally, right? And since you guys have no policy and no theory, all you do is let's kick their fucking ass. Let's fucking kill the immigrants. Let's build a wall. Retarded.
Nobody said we're going to kill anybody. We're not killing people. We don't.
How many death threats? How many death threats does Biden and Kamala and AOC and all the people you hate get a day? How many?
Don't know. Don't care.
Thousands. You don't care if they get death threats? Oh, so you're cool with like threatening the life of a senator or a congressperson? That's good for you?
I'm just saying, like, that has nothing to do with my life. So why would I keep track of that? I don't care. They have people for that.
You are a wonderful Christian person. You are a compassionate and loving Christian person.
Why would I sit here and stress myself out about that? How many other famous people and how many other dictators and how many other presidents in every country in the world get death threats every day? How many? All of them.
Okay.
I'm sure DeSantis gets death threats.
You're in support of it? You're in support of death threats?
I'm not supporting anything, but you're asking me how many. And I said, I don't know. It's not a part of my day. Don't care. I don't have time to memorize a death threat fact. That's totally irrelevant to anything that goes on in my life. We have Secret Service. We have security teams. We have all those things to keep them safe and protected. Anyone in any position of power who's going against opposition is always going to get death threats. Celebrities get death threats. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. It's just, that's not my problem because I'm not creating the problem and I'm not the problem.
Why
are immigrants?
Why are immigrants your problem? Why is Martha's Vineyard? Why is anything your problem? I forgot you have friends in every aspect of the universe from Tampa. But why is anything your problem? Why talk about any of it if you don't care? If it doesn't directly affect you, why are we talking about it? Why don't we talk about any of this shit? If it doesn't affect you, I mean, is that the whole point? Aren't we as citizens?
It's my state. So
it doesn't affect you.
This state affects me.
Those 48 people didn't affect you. They didn't have anything to do with it. You're never going to see them. You're never hear from them.
What if they could?
But what if they don't? So they're not. So okay. So what if one of those people giving a death threat gives a death threat to you? Should we pay him? Like, what do you want to do? It doesn't matter. Who cares?
It's a hypothetical situation that I don't need to stress.
Everything's hypothetical.
Nothing to do with my life right
now. But aren't we as American citizens required to like engage in civics and have a vote and a say in what happens in this country? Don't we want to be involved? Or do you just go, oh, it didn't happen to me. I don't care.
So Floridians and residents of Florida are over the influx of population to Florida. We fucking hate everybody that keeps coming here. We're done. We're done with you overpopulating our roads, overpopulating our subdivisions and our lives. We don't want any more people here. We're good. We want you all to leave. It has just completely wrecked everything about our state. We don't want any more people here at all. It doesn't matter what color you are. We don't care how much money you have. We don't want any more people here. That's a fact. Every single person that I talk to every single day does not want any more people here. And you're talking about people that have lived here our whole lives or at least for 20 plus years. We're done. We don't want anyone else here. Send them other places. There's plenty of other places to send people. Close the border, DeSantis. That's what I want. Close the border.
So I guess we can just replace white Aryan state with Floridian state.
We are beyond. We are not a white Aryan state, honey. Like, seriously, we're the most diverse population next to New York. We are beyond diverse here.
Well,
that's what
color,
creed,
That's
religion,
what
you name it.
that's what Germany said in World War II, that they only wanted a white Aryan
Dude,
state.
Miami,
And now that's what you want. You want a
there is like
Floridian
no white
state.
people in Miami.
But no, but that's what you want. You want a Floridian state. You guys are the new master race.
No,
Florida
we just
should
don't
be,
want
build
any
a
more
wall.
people
Should we build
here.
a wall around
We're
Florida?
good.
Let's build a wall around Florida.
No vacancy. Population tapped out. We're Gucci. Bye.
God,
Too many people on the road. We don't want to become the 305.
So
We're good.
shocking.
We don't want it.
I love you. I really do. And I think you're very smart. That's such a shockingly ignorant statement. Like, I think it's a joke. I'm hoping it's a joke or some kind of like weird joke. But I mean, I can't even imagine a normal person saying that. But you know what's good about it though? 30 minutes, we're done.
I expect you to have one of these shirts on the next time.
I am. I'm buying one. I'm buying one today.
The royal blue one, I got that one. It's pretty awesome.
I'm buying it today.
I'm going to go buy all of them.
Did I say today was going to be a bloodbath? I was right.
I'm not bleeding though.
I think you are on the inside.
I mean, we all bleed on the inside. Blood actually circulates through our veins.
Is our friendship going to survive this podcast? What do you think? We're 8 episodes in. How are we doing?
You're a fucktard, but I love you. It's fine.
I agree.
I seem to accumulate fucktards. It's like my MO.
See you next time. Love you lots.
Love you more. Listen, stop being an idiot, okay? You're cute as stupid.
Talk to you later.